What is up, YouTube? That's here, bringing you guys another episode of Amateur Hour. We're going at it with a brand new spooky-based team because it is October, right? It's currently October, so we're going to be using a cool team based around a Sableye Gengar lead with like Gravity Hypnosis, as well as a bunch of other status moves like Will-O-Wisp with Giratina and Toxic and Lugia. Very spooky-ish team. We're going up in the very first game up against G-Drac, who has Politoad, Heliolisk, Metagross, and Dragonite. So without further ado, we're just going to start this off, get right into it, and show you guys this really cool spooky team I've been working with. I like to call it a masquerade team because the other Pokemon in the team are like Zoroark and other, spooky Pokemon, but it looks like Lugia's wearing a mask, it looks like Giratina's wearing a mask, and I just wanted to make a really cool team using this combo. I did recently use it in the Arizona VGC 20, I guess it's 2017, but I recently used it in Arizona in a Premier Challenge. I had a bunch of fun games, and while it's not the best team, you're going to see it has a ton of flaws. It's definitely a ton of fun to play with. So the main combo here is Sableye uses its Prankster, goes for a priority Gravity, and then Gengar gets to hit a very high accuracy Hypnosis. And what's really cool about this team is, remember, Mega Gengar has Shadow Tag, so there's no real way for my opponents to switch out of this. They kind of just have to suck it up. And it actually, I don't even know if I'm going to be able to show it this game, but my Gengar has a move called Hex. It's a 65 base power ghost move that deals double damage if the opponent has a status condition. So that is a burn, that is, a sleep, a toxic, any of those things. If any of those things are on my opponents, my Gengar just deals a massive amount of damage. So we're going to see, I have to go for a Sludge Bomb here on this Heliolisk because it's actually an electric normal type. That means my Hex actually wouldn't hit it. As we see the Politoad go for a Perish Song. Now, Perish Song's kind of weird to see in this situation because he's currently trapped by my Gengar's Shadow Tag. He's kind of like Perish trapping himself right here, which is something you don't see very often. And like I said, this is free battle spot, so I'm just going to go with it. I could just Hex that Politoad and take it out, but it'd be much funnier to let the Politoad take itself out from its own Perish Song. So I decided to switch out my Sableye. There's not really that much you can do, and as a Sableye player, you have to know when to switch your Sableye out, when it's definitely fulfilled its usefulness. I switch out into my Lugia, KO the Heliolisk, and I definitely am in a pretty good spot. He goes for an Encore on what was my Sableye spot, and it's going to whiff. So Politoad's taken down from Burn. We each have a couple turns left before we have to run out of Perish, and he sends out a Dragonite here. Now, Dragonite can do a bunch of different things in the rain. I'm expecting maybe it's a Hurricane Dragonite, maybe it's banded, maybe it has a Lumberry, bunch of different things we can expect from the Dragonite. I'm just going to go for a Toxic because Toxic will, one, set up for a huge Hex and also break a multi-scale. Unfortunately for me, he has that Lumberry, so it's going to be a standard Dragonite sit on this guy, and we see him pop a huge Dragon Dance. Now this is a +1 Dragonite, but remember, Dragonites have to be Jolly Nature, I think, to be able to outspeed Gengar. Because I think it's similar to Gyarados in that way, where if it wants to break the speed tiering that timid Mega Gengar has, it has to be Jolly. So I don't really think this guy is. Either way, my Gengar has to switch out this turn because I just don't want to deal with Perish trapping myself. I decided to switch into my Sableye for fodder. As we see, he goes for a +1 extreme speed. Don't really know why he went for extreme speed there, but he definitely went for the extreme speed. Did decent damage to my Lugia, and I go for a second Toxic because remember, I am Encored, and I do want to break that multi-scale. I do want my Hex to hit hard as we fodder our Sableye to the Politoad, and if Politoad gets a KO, but he is going to be going down this turn to his own Perish Song, which is something that you rarely ever see as someone Perish trap themselves. He definitely played himself that one. So Politoad is going to tick out after this turn, after the burn, and I remember I have my Gengar on the back, and I also have a Giratina, so I think I'm going to go with Gengar here instead. Remember, Gravity is no longer on the board, which is kind of good because he's going to come with a Metagross here, and Metagross is going to be spamming a bunch of not 100% accuracy moves, so Gravity ended at the perfect time for me. So Gengar comes back out. I'm going to switch my Lugia out because I need to put up a Will-O-Wisp onto that Metagross, and Lugia's Toxic just isn't going to cut it right here. So Giratina switches in, its pressure is going to activate, and Gengar, like I said, is faster than the +1 speed Dragonite. Get to go for a huge stabbed Hex, and Dragonite's a very bulky Pokemon. It didn't have multi-scale, but it almost one-shotted a Dragonite with a not super effective move. And speaking of one-shotting Pokemon, this +1 Dragonite is going to use a super effective move and KO my Giratina. That is just a ridiculous amount of damage. And like I said, Gravity definitely expired last turn, so Metagross is going to whiff a huge Meteor Mash, and I definitely feel like I can lose this game I think these are our last two Pokemon, and I don't know if that Metagross, is holding, a band or an Assault Vest. I know it's not holding a One Berry because Dragonite already used one. It could be holding the berry that stops burn, but I definitely think either a Choice Band or an Assault Vest would be a standard item at this point since it's not going Mega. So I just decided to Roost and Protect, definitely wait that Dragonite out. He's going to tick out from Toxic, and he went for the Meteor Mash on my Gengar slot. That is the correct targeting there. So Dragonite ticks out. That's a huge, relief off my shoulders. The Outrage spamming +1 Dragonite was definitely not something I wanted to mess with. So I go for a Hypnosis. I'm going to miss there, and I follow it up with an Aeroblast because I don't really have any other options to do on the Metagross at this point. Still does a decent amount of damage, but that makes me see that, oh, he's not vested because that just did way too much damage. And he goes for a Meteor Mash, which does a ton of damage, activates my Citrus Berry, and just shows me that, okay, well, I didn't do that much. Sorry, I did a lot of damage with my Aeroblast, and he did a ton of damage. That means he's definitely Choice Band. So I'm going to Protect. I want to get one more Aeroblast off before I decide to go for that big Hex. Remember, Hex only does that additional damage if they have a status condition, but other than that, it's kind of like a weaker Shadow Ball. It's only 65 base. It is stabbed. It is super effective on this guy, so it is going to be enough to take out the Metagross in a rather close game. But this guy definitely had Pokemon made for battle. He had a I don't want to say anything about that Politoad, but I like Encore Skull, those are standard, but Perish Song, you don't just throw that on something unless you have a way of like trapping them in there. I did not let the Heliolisk go off. I know he was probably going to slam those huge thunders in the rain, and I shut down the Dragonite, and I got a little bit lucky against the Metagross, who definitely would have one-shotted my Gengar that first turn he came out if he didn't miss that Meteor Mash. So let me know what you guys think about this team. I'm going to be uploading a ton of games with it all throughout October because it is a very spooky month, and I decided that what's more spooky than ghost types. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below, and I will see you guys next time. Peace out.